Hello, I'm Thabang.
And I'm Mischke,
and welcome to Spilling the Tea podcast. Welcome back again. So we're just going to jump straight into it because you should know us by now, right? Today's topic, guys, I don't know, it's a bit personal, hey?
It is, but we've been getting very personal quickly.
No, absolutely. So the topic is, why am I single?
Marukom.
Marawai. We're still here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been a journey to be where we are. So the thing is, we also have to go back to why you think, we're still single. So this has been the ongoing message, that it's not about your worth. It's about God's timing more than anything. Some of our friends have been fortunate enough to find their spouses quite quickly. So I'm of the opinion that God still wants me to spend time with him, He is a jealous God after all, so...
He wants him all to yourself. No, wait. He wants you all to himself.
Yes.
That way.
Yes. And you know what's funny as well? When I was growing up, our mom always emphasized that you must open here and close there,
Well, it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
Say it as it is.
Say it like, yeah. So with that said, my sisters and I always had things to do, We were not really focused on having boyfriends. We had guy friends, yes, but we were not focused on having relationships per se, It's been an interesting one. What's your story? Why are you still single, Mischke?
Nee. I think for me it's almost that immediate answer of like, if I knew why, I wouldn't still be single.
Exactly. What is the formula, You know
what's going on. But yeah, my mom also always told me, she's like, no, like have friends. Don't go and focus on one guy or whatever. Have friends, get to know people.
Yeah.
And also through friendships, you can learn what do you want, what don't you want. You don't necessarily need to be in a specific boy-girl relationship to know that or figure that out. But for us, it's like, almost if you bring up this topic, it's like, why am I still single? Most of the times, usually people always say, oh, but I'm still waiting for the guy. Or obviously he still needs to go and figure stuff out before we can meet. So, but today we want to turn the tables a little bit and say, but maybe, and please don't take this wrong or whatever, but maybe there's still something in your life that needs to be sorted out.
True.
Needs to be refined. And that is the side that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And this, again, it doesn't speak into your worth or your purpose, or if you are loved or not, or that if you are lovable or not, you are still worthy. You are still lovable and all of that. This is just maybe something in your life or something in your past that has not really been sorted out, that maybe can hinder not only a relationship with a partner, but a relationship with God as well. And where he wants you to grow to, or a space that he wants you to move into. Yeah.
Well said, friend.
Thanks, I have my moments. Winter.
Winter. Guys, I'm not really a fan of winter, but here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, with that said as well, that's why to some extent at times I don't enjoy, our extended families gatherings.
The
question all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, Thabang, here we are again. And you're like, and what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the one who's going to go out there hunting for this man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to put yourself out there, but you're not going to,
Yeah. Anyway.
Like we mentioned with the previous episodes as well. It's like being available, putting yourself out there. But we were created, what is that book? Wild at Heart and I want to say Captivating or something. It was written by a husband and wife.
I remember you mentioned it before.
And it's really good. So if you have not read it, please go. The book for the ladies is Captivating, I think, and then the book for the men is Wild at Heart. But I would really suggest that you go and read both the books because it really gives you perspective on the male and the female side. Like, why did God create the female and why did he create the male? But a little bit deeper than that, like what is our purpose as, you know, wife and husband in the world, not necessarily just together. And the man, they were created to hunt. You know, the way they were put together is for that. So ladies, don't go and take that away. I know there's so many things.
Don't come at her, please.
But like, there's so many worldly things that tells us, no, but you know, you go and make the moves and you go and do that. Yes, again, put yourself out there.
Yes.
Show that you are available. But the man is the hunter.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah. Anyway, different dynamics.
Yeah,
as well,
that goes into a whole nother topic.
It's another topic, that one. Yeah.
But so basically having a moment where instead of pointing fingers to other people or saying they should still figure things out, maybe ask God to show you maybe if there's still something in your life that has or needs some refinement. So for instance, I think it's now about 2 years ago. So you know the lists. Like the list you pray for your husband or whatever. And that sounds so bad. It sounds like a shopping list. Like,
no, you know, my aunt is like, you have to be specific. You must tabulate, you know, because now you're gonna cry. You're like, oh, but God, he didn't do A, B, and C, and it's like,
but did you pray for it?
You must tabulate.
I mean, he says in his word that we need to be specific. But so having that, say, list or that thing that you pray for, something specific, is I started realizing, but what type of woman or wife would my husband be praying for?
Very good.
And then looking at from that side and be like, okay, Mischke, are you that quote unquote list? You know, are you ticking maybe some of the boxes, or are there some things that is not
that you need to work
part
on
of your life? So also praying from that side and being like, God, please help me with this and this part. I want a guy that's like adventurous and we go do stuff outside in nature. But like, when was the last time you went for a hike or a walk?
It's like once a guy with a 6-pack, but you have a 1-pack. Like, come on. Focus.
Right? So it's like, that is also now the physical part, but like emotionally, spiritually, where are you at? So you're also praying for a guy that's part of church life, for instance, or has a very deep and strong relationship with God.
That's a definite. For both of us. Hello.
Number one.
Hello.
Non-negotiable. But then, are you that? Will you be the person, or are you the person that can stand next to that type of man and also support him in that, so that he can support you and outwards as well? So how is your relationship with God? So that was a very big, I think, turning point for me, I think 2 years ago, about now. Good. You know, looking from my side as well. What is there that I need to work on a little bit?
Being the woman of your dreams for your husband. Hello.
Yes.
Please.
Put that on a t-shirt.
No, it's quite cool because one of my cousins, Dimpo, she does a little vlog every now and then.
Yes.
And she's like, this is episode 1 of being the woman of my dreams, you know?
Good.
So she's now exercising. She's focusing on the type of person she would like to be in a relationship with, you know, which is so important. So I was so encouraged. So keep at it, cuz.
Yes. Love it.
So what does Scripture say on your side?
Okay, so I've got a few scriptures. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And I know you love Lamentations, so I got a Lamentation. Lament. Lamentations 3 verse 25 to 26. The Lord is good to those who wait for him. To the soul who seeks him, it is good that one should wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. Again, this is just to bring back, like, the waiting season isn't necessarily you sitting on your chair not doing anything. It's an active waiting.
Get involved, friend.
Yeah. Woo. Like, put yourself, I don't want to say put yourself out there just for the relationship, but for life. Like, what does it help sitting around and not living? And that was also another thing 2 years ago when I went through this whole thing or realization was I'm literally keeping so many things back because, oh no, I want to one day do this with my husband.
Never.
So I'm not going to do this right now. So I realized that I'm not living anymore. You know, yes, one day we can go and do these things again together, but I'm not going to have keep my life on hold.
Exactly.
Because I don't have my partner
There
yet.
we go, sister.
So that was a big thing for me in the also realizing the waiting season isn't just sitting and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Proverbs 4 verse 23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Again, it's not like guard your heart because also other people towards you, but like what is in your heart that flows out? What is in your relationship with God that flows out to other people? And then the last one, the Psalm 139 verse 23 to 24. Search me, O God, point out anything in me that offends you. And that just brings now it all back together. You know, it's exactly that. It's like, God, it doesn't say what is other things that I have to pray for other people to sort out in their life. They have to take care of themselves.
Yeah, hello.
You take care of yourself. It's like one finger points to someone else, but there's three fingers pointing back at you. Yeah. So what's your verses?
Yeah, I mean, in the same breath, you also cannot pour from an empty cup. So I see this season as a way of filling my cup as well. In order to become the best wife I can be. So right now I'm trying to be the best, the best woman of my dreams, you know? So with all of that said, you know, right now I'm also got a couple of scriptures as well. Singleness as a time for spiritual growth. I have 1 Corinthians 7, 32 to 34. And it says singleness can be a time for focusing on spiritual matters and serving God. So this is our form of ministry as well for that. And then I also have you did the Psalm one. I also have Colossians 3, 1 to 2. Where it basically speaks about singleness being an opportunity to set our hearts on the things above, you know, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. So that's just like an overview paraphrasing of, you know, some of the two scriptures that really stood out for me during my quiet time, discussing this.
That's good. Good. So what can we share that's like practical ways of making sure that we sit at God's feet and I want to say, sort these things out? Let's get practical.
So, you know, referring back to your list, you know. So with the list, as you're praying over it, you know, you're like, okay, Lord, I'm praying for a husband who's financially stable. Am I financially stable?
Do I know how to work with money? Do I know budgeting? Do
I steward my finances well myself? So I can't expect another woman's child to have good finances if I do not have my house in order in that regard. So so those are some of the prompts that I've been praying about. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm praying for a husband that is financially stable, but help me to also steward my finances, you know. What am I doing about that? I'm trying to live within my means.
With your budget, get your budget.
With my budget. You know, there are sales, guys. You know, there are so many sales out there. But then you're like, but I don't need to buy another pair of jeans. I have so many. Let me just stop, you know? So instilling that discipline as well. And
discipline is a big one.
Yeah.
And so many factors.
So going through that list, you know, I want to have a spouse that is healthy and, you know, also, you know, physically active, you know. You can't be having an extra boop. You know what I mean? I have a boop, yes, I know. It can be bigger than mine, I'm just saying. So I'm really trying to do this exercising thing. I'm trying to eat well.
Sorry, I just love it. His boop can't be bigger than mine.
No, please. Let's focus.
And like I think when we are pregnant, like the guys also like, I also had cravings and they also get bigger. It's like,
we can have cravings, yes, but you can't get bigger, you know.
I'm just having that image.
So, you know, these are just two small practical things. The list is quite long, but it's quite practical because I like to think I'm a practical person. And I'm very easygoing as well, you know. Yes. So I'm very easygoing. I'm chilled.
Yeah.
So those are some of the practical things. So this is helping me to look at myself as well. I'm like, okay, I can't expect someone to be this, you know, superhuman when I'm not, you know, so I need to work on myself. And it's an ongoing journey. And I'm happy to walk the journey with my future spouse, to be like, okay, honey, the finances, maybe less coffee, more tea. Just say, you know,
I mean,
we're spilling the tea here.
I think it's like, it's really good. I mean, it's something that we touch on all the time. So, and having and walking that road with God, you know, going with him through the list and be like, God, what is it that you want me to add to the list? You know, and then, you know, if you need extra help, that's fine. Do it. If you feel like you need a life coach to go through these things, or a therapist, or someone like that, do it. Do it for yourself. Doesn't have anything to do with anybody else out there.
Exactly.
Do it for yourself. And then also other one, it's always, you know, good to go through the list and do all this, but like asking yourself the honest question, like really be honest with yourself, because I think it's easy like, yes, I have a good relationship with God,
but do you?
My relationships with my friends are good, and like I like to go walking or whatever. We can really so easily lie to ourselves. So really be honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I open for this?
Are you really
ready?
ready?
Really ready and to walk this, and it's not going to be easy. Like, let's be honest, it's not always fun to hear that there's something of your demeanor or the way you carry yourself that's not being positively received by others. Yo, don't know.
Yeah, are you okay there?
Right? So it's not nice. It's not nice to be formed in the fire. It takes work, and be honest with yourself and open to actually walk this road.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Food for thought, There's a lot to think about, but please be encouraged, knowing that you're not alone in this. We too are going through the most. And the thing is, you need to acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it and you start working on it, it does become better. It's like wanting to run a race, you know? You're not going to be number one after the first race, unless you are like super athletic. The rest of us are not. So we need to really put in the effort, you know?
Put in the training.
Yeah, so keep at it. For me, journaling really does help. It helps me to reflect. It helps me to see what I did and what I can do better. And that's why the list of the husband is like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I want stability, but am I working towards that stability myself? So that when he comes up, you know, when the spouse eventually comes, I'll be like, no, I have my own here. I'm sorted. Where are you? You know, let's help each other out. It can't be that whole thing of, oh, finally you're here. woo,
now I
take
can stop.
over. No,
I'm perfect.
No, it doesn't work like that, because we're all human. In this process.
Yeah, and I think just like me saying now, I'm laughing at myself, being like, oh, I'm perfect. We can have that thought, and remember, like you said, we're human. Nobody's perfect. Nobody.
Only Jesus.
So and it's also I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's the perfect all-rounder, beautiful, yes. But like, you're gonna make mistakes, and there's never gonna be one day that you've got everything sorted out.
Yeah.
We're human. We live in a sinful world. There's always gonna be something coming up.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like that mental, that change,
that adjustment,
that of like seeing it as an excitement that I'm never gonna reach that end goal. Or goal until I'm in heaven.
Yeah, true story.
So I'm always gonna have something to work on, something that I can get better at or whatever.
And guess what? You know, like when I speak to my married friends, when you do become married, the dynamics also change. You know, so like, for someone that's been single for so long, you know how to steward your finances and you do things a certain way. Now you have to humble yourself and bring in an extra party. Like, by the way, husband, we're going grocery shopping. Usually we just go by yourself, go shopping. Now you actually have to be intentional. Actually consider the next person. Go through what is required by the both of you. You know, so the dynamic does change. But in this season, it's helping you to sort yourself out first before having your person there.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good point to pray on as well. You know, I know this was something that I was very scared of at a stage, being like, how am I going to, and this sounds very bad, but how am I going to accommodate someone in my life? Right?
Yes.
Because we are so at this age,
we're so
and
comfortable.
This stage of our life, we have our way of doing things, of whatever. Like, if you want to go out, you go out.
Yeah, I don't need to ask you.
I don't need to inform someone.
No,
I'm just gonna go and have a coffee with a friend after work. Like,
now you have to,
and having to remember to make that space for that person as well, is something also that one can pray into.
Absolutely. But in the same breath, now that I am on a deeper, walk with God, I'm now starting to do that with Him as well. I'm like, God, I'm about to make this decision.
Yes.
Is this really something you want me to do?
Yes.
Or am I just being chacharach? Like...
Yeah,
because
is this me and my own flesh?
Exactly.
Or is this really something that you want? Oh,
because there are times where I'm like, really no, the opportunity is here. I'm very decisive. I'm like, let me just do it. This sounds like a great opportunity. Let me do it. But now in this new walk, I'm like, I forgot to ask God. God, is this really what you want for me to do right now? So it's very humbling. And I think by doing this, practicing this right now will help me to even have a better relationship with my future husband.
Yes.
So
good.
Yeah.
Just wrapping it up.
Yes.
I saw this quote and it was really good also. Reframe singleness as a sacred season, not a waiting room. So I'm going to leave you with that.
Beautiful.
Remember to like, subscribe, please comment. What are your thoughts on this topic? Please, we really want to hear from you. And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah. I'm Thabang.
And I'm Mischke. And this is Spilling the Tea podcast.
Bye.